the Liberty continue to roll, hosting the Sky, the Commissioner's Cup, and they jump out and roll tape. There we go. Roll tape. It's fine. Breanna Stewart off the screen. Oh, good find and an even better bucket three the hard way. Stewart makes it 10-0. Sky down big. Angel Reese corner three. Been struggling from the floor. Had a better night in this one within 10, but this Liberty squad is just too much. Ionescu a three, and it's an 11-point lead after the first dozen minutes. One more time. Ionescu to Stewart. Gino would always say man-to-man. I started to say two-man game. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Two people playing basketball. You know what the deal is. It's them again. Stewie from Breanna, 19-point lead. Next Liberty possession. Same story. Breanna going baseline. The connection, little look away. And the Liberty rolling throughout. One more time for Breanna from three. Can't give her that look. All three of these. And it's business as usual. 19-point win. I heard Ryan mentioning that the score was significant. It's always significant to some. Liberty, ninth team in WNBA history to begin a season 9-0. Second this year as they join the team they knocked off in the finals last year. The Lynx, New York, the fourth defending champion to start a season 9-0. Joining the Lynx from 16 and 12, and the Sparks of 03. Each of those teams made it back to the finals, but all three lost. Good to have you back with me on the program. And Stewie, 9 games does not a season make, but it's hard to envision a better start than this team has had. What does it say off that championship run that the appetite is what it is from your squad?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exactly that. You know, we're hungry for more, and taking it one game at a time. You know, we know that we're now 9-0, but really just focus on the game at hand and wanting to be great every single night.
No Jonquel, and that could be viewed as, oh, that's a bummer, or that's an opportunity for others. How have you seen that as an on-ramp for somebody to maybe have a bigger role and show what they can do with it?
Absolutely. I think, you know, our depth is something that's the most important, and the fact that, you know, we had Niara step up, you had KB get 15 points. We just have an entire team that's ready to come in whenever we have somebody go down.
I know it's just 9 games, but it's also hard to miss the fact that there's another team that's 9-0, and it's the team you danced with last summer. And I just am interested, Breanna, in how much, as the season goes on, you're keeping an eye on them and you know they're keeping an eye on you. That's just human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, it's human nature and just wondering who's kind of at the top of the standings. And also, these are Commissioner Cup games, so they're in the West and they're doing well as well, so we might meet up a little bit sooner than we think.
Last quick thought. I know that every team always says they're going to dive in, they're going to look at the tape. Where can we get better? I mean, what do you have to be better at right now? You guys are kind of a machine, it seems to me.
I mean, I think just our rebounding, defensive rebounding, we know we can always be better at. Chicago beat us on the boards tonight, and we just got to continue to keep stepping up without JJ.
Yeah, that's true. I just looked at the numbers, 37-29. You got to tighten that up. Come on, box out, box out. I don't need Gino telling me to tell you that. So go get on it. All right.
Honestly, he probably texts me. No, CD definitely texts me.
I know how that works. Sometimes I get a text from him as well. We appreciate him watching. We appreciate you stopping by to throw on the headset. Be well until next time, all right?
Thank you. See you soon.
Hoops of all flavors, and we appreciate the time. I just asked Stewie about the absence of Jonquel. She mentioned Niara, who had a chance to make something of the absence. And what did you make of what she did with the Finals MVP out tonight?
Man, Scott, it's just another example of the depth, the embarrassment of riches in the form of depth for this New York Liberty squad. I mean, you go down the stats, and they are first in so many statistical categories. Points per game, opponent points per game, field goal percentage, three-point field goal percentage, three-point field goal percentage defense. And tonight, you saw an extension of that in terms of the efficiency that they played with, the way they were able to stifle the Chicago Sky offense, and Niara Sabally stepping in and them not missing a beat, even though they were without Finals MVP Jonquel Jones out with that ankle.
I don't know if you know this about my partner in crime, Stanford Steve, but he has 3 young daughters who are all about basketball. They love the college game, and they certainly know about the professional game as well. So Stanford Steve is a very, very keen observer of the women's game, and he said, look, Scott, I'm telling you, July 30th, when these two teams play.
Yeah.
These two being the champs and the team they knocked off the Lynx. He's saying, what's the chances that they're both unbeaten? I know that's a lot to ask, but is it a possibility in your mind, Monica?
It is a possibility. In fact, we posed this question tonight on WNBA Countdown with Coach Carolyn Peck, who is terrific, and host Christine Williamson. We looked at the schedule, Scott. The next 4 games for either of these teams, or for both of these teams, I should say. The Lynx have to play the Seattle Storm up next, and they are a team with length. They're a team with depth. If they are locked in defensively, they could pose some problems for the Lynx. So that's one that we have circled as a potential trip up. And then for the Liberty, they'll play Indiana on Saturday. Caitlin Clark will return. I don't expect them to struggle there. But Atlanta is a team that is holding their own. They beat the Fever tonight. They've been playing really good basketball with Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard and Brittany Griner down in Atlanta. So we're wondering if either of these teams might get tested, if not actually trip up over their next 4 games.
Okay, you were wondering. I'm wondering. What do you think? I'm not asking you to say this is going to happen, but I mean, it really feels like we can draw a line beneath these two, and there is a marked difference between them and everyone else. Is that fair?
Yes, I agree with that statement. Now, to whether or not they will be undefeated when they meet in July, I do not think that both of them will continue to be undefeated, and here's why. These teams have been to finals, and in 2016, when the Lynx started off 13-0, set a record, it was historic, they lost in the finals. And so when you think about the big picture, both of these teams want to get back to the finals in their best form, healthiest, mentally and physically, and have an opportunity to win. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to take games off, but we also have Eurobasket coming up in the WNBA. So Leonie Phoebus, for example, the terrific sophomore for the Liberty, is going to be away playing national team basketball over in Europe. So these teams might lose some pieces that are going to be important in the big picture. I don't expect them both to be undefeated still. I'd give it, I'm going to do Stanford Steve a little bit, under 4 losses for both teams by July 30th.
All right, I like that. I would take that. I think under is a lock for those two. I can't see them losing that many games. But we did learn, certainly the Indiana Pacers showed us, that all season long I was guilty of this, drawing a line beneath Cleveland and Boston and saying those are the teams, maybe New York, but that's probably about it. And the Pacers are like, no, sit your bald ass down. We're going to the finals. So I'm not saying it's just them. And you mentioned Atlanta. They did knock off the Fever tonight. You mentioned some of the players that have done well. Is that a team that might not be a championship threat but could take a step forward this season?
I got Atlanta in that category, and it's going to sound weird to say this, but I got the Aces in that category, even though they have a championship pedigree of their own. And I'd even throw in the Phoenix Mercury, Scott, who have been without 3 pivotal pieces in terms of their ability to compete at the highest level this season. Alyssa Thomas, who's been a runner-up for MVP, Natasha Mack, and Kalia Copper. So, yes, there is a demarcation line between the Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx and the rest of the league. But those 3 teams, in my mind, in particular Atlanta, who I think is playing their best basketball right now, they will have the opportunity to push those teams in the regular season and potentially learn from those matchups. Now, I don't know if I got anybody taking them out in the series outside of one another right now, but of course we got to play the games.
Understood. Always enjoy the time, Monica. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you.